Hey everybody, my name is Chauncey Haney and welcome to another episode of Accidental Isolation, where I like to bring on a guest to talk about a moment where they unintentionally found themselves alone, whether it be mentally, physically, or emotionally. This podcast is to give listeners an opportunity to see how common it is to be stuck in accidental isolation. Today we have former Utah U, Bryan Allen. After his 5-yard stint in the NFL, he blessed me to be his teammate with the Birmingham Stallions, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you coming, giving me a little bit of your time, just talk to my viewers and everything. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I want them to know a little bit about you. So tell me a little bit about your history, man, where you're from, how you grew up.
So grew up in a small town called Lamarck, Texas, maybe 30 minutes south of Houston. Family are all girls, mom, 2 sisters. My mom and dad are separated, so my dad remarried. I have a sister on his side too, so grew up all women, man. Big lover of sports. Number one sport that I love to play was basketball, because a lot of people told me I was too skinny to play football, so I was always a basketball player. Started playing that, and then coming into high school, my freshman year, I was like, all my friends were playing football, so I'm like, let me try it out. Ended up playing it. Ended up going well. Ended up playing football, and ended up scoring my first touchdown. And I guess my career took off from there.
Yeah, after that. What year did you start playing football?
Oh man, so I graduated in 2012. So I think I started playing about 2007, 2008 seriously. I played Little League, but I took it seriously once I got to the 8th, 9th grade.
Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool, man. Excited to have you on, man. So after hearing the definition of accidental isolation, why don't you tell us what that looked like for you?
So the biggest thing, for me was when I, had to leave home and go to college. So growing up in Texas, I went to college way in Utah. Okay. And for me, like I said, it was tough, not having my family there, because I have a real close-knit family. We talk and we do everything on a daily basis. So finally going to college as a freshman, not being able to, go to mama when I need something, go to daddy when I need something. I had to, grow up on my own. And it got times, like I said, I just felt like I didn't fit in Utah. So, I would find myself going into these mental ruts where I was just like, man, I want to leave this place. Don't like it here. I couldn't do it. And I had to be there for football to perform, but when my mental wasn't right, I felt like it was affecting with my play on the field as well. So, like I said, it was a lot of things, a combination of, finally having to grow up, pay my own bills, washing my own clothes, feeding myself. So like I said, it was a combination of things that I just had to learn up and grow. But that was probably one of the toughest times I had to get through.
No, most definitely, man. I think a lot of people experience that, athlete or not, just getting to college, especially if you go away from home. You just got to learn how to adapt. You got to learn how to be an adult.
For sure.
And I think college does a good thing for a lot of people, because you're out there by yourself, but you still have a community around you. You still have a campus. And lucky for you, you were able to go on an athletic scholarship, so you also had your teammates and things like that. You're still there to play football. Did this affect how you played on the field coming in as a freshman already? You already have some chip on your shoulder because you want to be able to play. You want to be able to do what you love, what you went there for. So going through all these other lows with learning how to live life and things like that, did football affect that, or did this affect your play on the football field?
It's a little bit of both, like I said, because kind of how I looked at it, like I said, football was my escape. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's what at the time, that's what I loved to do. You know what I'm saying? Football was my escape. So when I got to college, I was just like, okay, with all of this going on, let me go work my butt off in football. And once I get on the football field, everything will just be smooth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, my freshman year didn't go as I thought it was going to be. Like I said, I came in as a freshman with a chip on my shoulder, but I also got to realize there are other people that are just as good as you. You're not the star on the team anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got other good people. So as a freshman, I ended up having a red shirt, and that, like I said, that kind of messed with my psyche too, because in my mind, I was already ready to go in and make an immediate impact, and it didn't happen the way I wanted to, on top of with all the other things that I mentioned earlier, So, man, it kind of, like I said, for my freshman year, like I said, I could have took it a lot more serious than I did, just because, like I said, I was just mentally not in it anymore. Like I said, just because, I felt like it was over. Yeah. Everything I had worked for, it wasn't going to pan out, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of, didn't take it as serious as I should have my freshman year, but, I mean, it was just a combination of a lot of stuff.
This is for a lot of the high school athletes that are going to go and further their career and play college football. Do you think that you're coming in with a little high? You just had a great high school career, got a D1 offer coming out there. Do you think that affected a little bit your mindset about going in? Did you think it was going to be easy? Or not necessarily easy, but did you think it would be different than what you actually experienced?
I mean, because like I'm pretty sure like all of these, these college coaches, they come sit on your couch and they tell you this and they tell you that, or you're going to be this, you're going to be that. And like I said, and I kind of like, in my mind, I kind of knew like how it was, but a part of me wanted to believe it. So it's kind of like I went into it thinking like, oh, you sat on my couch, you ate my food, like you did all of this, you told me I was going to be this, but when I get up here, it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that, like I said, kind of got into my mental too. And then when they kind of like made me redshirt, shut me down, I was just like, well, damn, what was all of that we just talked about, you know what I'm saying? Then on top of like getting out there, like I said, I mentioned, I just didn't like the place at all. Like I felt like I didn't fit in. It wasn't necessarily the best fit for me, so it was kind of like, I was just mentally out of it at that point.
Going to a place where you don't fit in as a human first, because at the end of the day, regardless of what your profession is, you are a human. I bet it could feel alone, especially when you don't have anyone necessarily around you that you're comfortable with, and then going to a new place. So how did you make it through your freshman year?
So I mean, for one, I happened to this summer going into my second year of college, I ended up meeting my wife. And she kind of kept me grounded, you know what I'm saying? Showed me, things outside of, football that, Utah had to offer, you know what I'm saying? So she was kind of one of the ones who did make me feel alone, you know what I'm saying? I had somebody, other than my teammates, you know what I'm saying? Because I got to see them every day. This was just somebody on the outside who genuinely, like I said, cared about me as a person rather than a football player, as I felt, So, I ended up meeting her. Then at the same time, I was like, okay, going into my second year, she was, right there on my side, man, work hard and go get what you want, So like I said, that summer going into my second year, I worked my butt off again to earn a spot. I actually did get in the rotation, but, they ended up, bringing a guy in from junior college and threw him over me. So it's kind of like I was starting from square one all over again.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. This ain't it. I worked my butt off for y'all for 2 years, basically, and you just come in like a guy that's just coming in because you think he has more college experience than me, he has game experience, he should be playing with me. And that's when I just mentally was just done with football in general, not just necessarily the school. I just was like, it's not it. It's not it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people go through that, especially after they think they gave it their all, or they think they did everything they possibly can do, and things just aren't working for them. They just keep hitting the wall. So at this point in time, were you still at receiver?
Yes.
So you're still at receiver, and your coaches, they're telling you, man, you're doing good, you're having good camps, but this guy might just be a little bit better than you. That's what they're telling you. It might not be true or not, but this is what they're telling you. So after this second year, you went through camp. It's kind of like you hit another wall. Could your family back at home, or could your girlfriend at the time, right? Could she tell? Did people see, or did they notice what you were going through? Did they know you were going through these lows?
So actually, she noticed it, and then one of the coaches on the coaching staff noticed it. And at the time, I'm not trying to make it a racial thing.
Yeah.
He was the only black coach we had on the staff at the time. So he noticed it. He noticed okay, I wasn't practicing as hard. I wasn't showing up to class. He just knew I wasn't into it. So he happened to call me in the office, and we was, even though he was a defensive coach at the time, I was on offense. He noticed it because he wanted the best out of everybody. Especially like I said, for him, he's been coaching there a while, but at the same time, he's he looks like us too.
Exactly.
So he has to.
He knows what it's like to be in that community.
He knows what it's like to be in that state of mind. So I'm I kind of talked to him, let him know everything that was going on. I just had to get it off my chest. Other than talking with my wife my girlfriend at the time, but somebody else to hear me out, and he understood what I was going through. And like I said, going into my junior year, he talked with me, and he was like, you know what, come try and play defense for me. So going into my redshirt junior year, like I said, I played defense, but mind you, I'm thinking it's just going to be another bunch of baloney. Just to keep me there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to transfer out or quit school just to stay in school to finish. So going into my junior year, it was one game, like I said, because I have never played defense before in my life. I have been an offensive player my whole life. So going into my red shirt junior year, like, this is my first time ever having to actually make a tackle or play defense at all.
Dark side.
So, yeah, man. So I stayed in there. I stayed with it, and I had a decent camp at defensive back. But like I said, it was just my first time doing it, so I was still pretty raw, natural, still learning the position. So came 1 week. I forgot what game it was. He was just like, "We got some bodies down. You might have to play this week. So if I was you, I'd pay attention." In my mind, I'm like, "You just talking. I'm not playing." But sure enough, something happened, and I had to go in the game. And like I said, like I was prepared. Like I said, I knew everything that was going on, but in my mind, I'm just like, okay, damn, it's like really my first time getting some action in basically 3 years.
So was this your first game?
This was my first like defensive game.
Okay,
like I said, like I played offense in college a little bit, like, but not as much as I should have. You know what I'm saying? But so this was my first defensive game. I actually got in, and you know how offense is. They see a new corner, they coming right at you the first play. Guy ended up coming at me first play. I made the play. And from that point, I'm just like, okay, maybe I should lock in and take this a little bit more serious. I mean, from that point on, I kind of like was just like, you know what, let me lock in, take it serious, and like we'll see where it goes. You know. And then, like I said, I ended up coming back as a senior, earning a starting job at the defensive back position. I mean, just in 2 years playing, defensive back, I ended up having 6 interceptions. In a powerhouse conference like the Pac-12 throwing the football. So.
Do you remember that first defense game? Who'd y'all play?
Washington State.
And
this was when Mike Leach was there. They was the air raid offense.
Well, that was the coach, right?
Yeah, he was the coach. He was he was a coach back when Texas Tech had Michael Crabtree and those guys throwing the football like that. So they were throwing the ball. I can't remember the receiver, but I remember I was in on the 20-yard line, and the first play they went at me. It was raining too, and they tried to throw inside a fade on me, and like I said, it was either overthrown or I broke it up or something. But I was like, damn, this actually happened. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, after that, and I think I only played maybe like 2 or 3 snaps of defense that game. But I was just like, from that point on, I was just like, okay, like. He didn't feed this was the first time I feel like a coach gave me something that wasn't a false reality.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, "You might play this week," and I'm just like, "Yeah, whatever."
But that was
I ended up having to play. You know what I'm saying? So from that point on, I'm just like, you know what? Let me lock in and take it serious, because like who knows? Maybe that's a blessing in disguise. You know what I'm saying? That's God telling me like, all right, focus in. It's something big on the other side. Exactly. So like I said, I ended up. Earning the starting job going into my senior year, having, a decent 2 years at the position, and, what I'm saying, that got me drafted.
One thing I'm big on is community. Community is what propels people to go further, because you can go very far alone, but you can go further with people around you.
Sure.
And one thing you had to learn as a sophomore going into your junior year is to trust someone.
Yeah.
In your benefit, you had a coach that you felt that you could trust. And he told you something, and you trusted it, and he gave you your first opportunity to get real, good actual in-game reps, and from there it took off. And it's good that you had a coach there that could be a part of your community. Now, I remember you saying after your freshman year going to your sophomore year, you met your girlfriend at the time, which is now your wife, and you said she helped you a lot. Since we're on community, let's talk about how you met your girlfriend, and let's just talk about how some of the things she did to help or encourage you to get out of these ruts, and let's talk about how she just did things to keep pushing you.
So like I said, we ended up meeting. She went to a community college that wasn't too far from campus where I was, and we ended up meeting, through mutual friends. She knew some of my teammates, and in college you go have social gatherings with your teammates, and like I said, we ended up meeting there for the first time, and that encounter didn't go so well. But ended up seeing her again maybe like a couple months later, and we just got to talking, and from that point on, we looked back on the first situation we met, and it was a funny situation, and like I said, we just got to hanging out, and from that point we were pretty much together for the next basically 3 years at that point. In my junior year, having had my first daughter, we had a kid together, and like I said, she was like, it was just like she was one of those people that just, was always with me no matter what. When I was going through, tough times with, the football stuff, trying to manage a family, all that type of stuff, like her family took me in too. So it's kind of like I had a family away from my family, you know. So somebody who I could actually, you know, go to and talk to and just like just have a home cooked meal for once. You know what I'm saying? So like her family like took me in, man, with open arms. So it was kind of like from that point on, it was just like I got a family now. You know what I'm saying? So like it was a point where I didn't go back to Texas for about 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I was just like at that point, I'm like, I have my family here. I got a family here. Like these people love me. Like they'll do anything for me.
Exactly.
And you know, vice versa. So it was kind of like that. That kind of kept me grounded as well. To me, it allowed me to, you know, focus more on football, focus more on school. You know what I'm saying? Like just get myself back on the right path and right back in the mental capacity that I need to be in so I can perform.
And that's really incredible because I think a lot of people either one don't realize who they have around them, and sometimes they need to realize who they have around them. Community is huge, like you know, like we already spoke about how it can push you to go further. And I think having people who one can see when you're going through things, and they you know they see it, they can feel it, and they can either one just guide you out of it. No one can get you out of the problems that you're in. You're the only one that can get yourself out. Sure. But I think community is something big to have around you to help propel you out of these things, and obviously it propelled you to a lot of great things in life. You were able to get drafted. Let's talk a little bit about how that experience went, because just 2-3 years ago, you were questioning quitting. You was questioning Utah itself, transferring everything, and you were able to overcome that. And not only overcome that and just continue to have a good life, you overcame that and had a great accomplishment in getting drafted. That's something a lot of people can commend you for, because a lot of people unfortunately do give up and they do quit. Is there anything else that kind of kept you on track to not want you to quit besides community or besides the people around you? Is there something you did? Was there something that switched in your head, or was there anything like that that just told you, I got to keep going because something else is out there for me?
Yeah, really what it was that just made me just like click and just totally lock in was the birth of my daughter.
Yeah.
My first one. That was really that was my why to keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I got to find a way to provide for her. You know what I'm saying? Not only myself, but her. I want to give her the life, you know, that I didn't have growing up. You know, I didn't have a bad life growing up, but at the same time, like, I want her life to be better than, you know, mine. I want to be able to give her anything she wants, you know. So like I said, that was really my reason for, you know, for keeping pushing, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, and after those, you know, 2 years of playing defensive back, like I was, you know, able enough to, you know, garner some attention, you know, towards NFL scouts.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, a 6'2", 6'3" corner.
And that's what I'm saying. At the time, that was the shift, you know, where everybody was looking at the, you know, the Richard Sherman type corners, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of fit the description, you know. So like I said, it was cool, man. And when I really, you know, knew it was a reality, well, it could be a possibility, was when, you know, I got a call one day from just a random number, and I happened to answer it. Like, usually, like I said, I'm the type of guy, if your phone number's not saved in my phone, I'm not answering it. So just this one day, in college, I got a random call from a Vegas number, who's happened, like, that's my agent. His name is Steve Carrick. He called me, and he's like, is this Bryan? And I'm like, yeah, and we just got to talking. He introduced himself, who he was, and he was just like, okay, like, I'm going to just be completely honest with you. This is what I'm hearing. I like the intangibles, like, and I would like to represent you, you know, as a client. But at the time, you know, they had so many rules and stuff where you couldn't agree with an agent or you can get suspended and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, man, I went through that process and ended up signing with, you know, I had a couple suitors, ended up signing with the agent who I'm with now. And then for me, like, that's when the real work started. Yeah. Like, outside of everything that went on in my college career, this was a whole separate ball game as far as the NFL. Like, I had to go, you know, leave my family in Utah to go to California to train for 3-4 months. Okay. So it's like I wasn't seeing, you know, and it's me being a dad of a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to be around my daughter any chance I could, but it's kind of like, for me, like I'm saying, it's not a bigger purpose, but it's like I gotta go chase this dream so I can give you what you want, you know. So like that was tough, not being able to see my kids and stuff when I wanted to. Then on top of, you know, working my butt off to get a combine invite, you know. So I'm saying, like, just the NFL process of, you know, going from college to that was just a whole separate ball game in itself.
Because for those who don't know, I think one of the greatest accomplishments you could have, obviously, you know, it's all jokes, but getting a call from random numbers. I think any NFL free agent can attest to it. you got to answer every phone call. And there's a lot of scam likelies out there, man, that we got, you know what I'm saying?
But you never know.
Exactly. You never know. And I think that's just something that's I guess, kind of cool to have. It's like you got to answer any phone call because you can get a call at any moment from anybody, anywhere in the world. Yeah, I got phone numbers calling me from other countries, but they're for the NFL. And it's like, I would have never answered this, and I think that's pretty cool. But back to you, man. You were saying, you got an agent. You just finished your college career, and he's telling you, "Hey, man, I got a training facility, in California. I want you to come out." And as a father, like you said, of a daughter, and that I know that had to be tough to like say, "Hey, baby, this is your wife now," this, and everything. Like, I gotta go leave and I gotta go to training. How did they react to this? Were they supportive? I'm assuming so, but like that definitely helped.
It was so like they were definitely supportive of that because they knew I was chasing my dream.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it was tough. Like, and I said, we were in Utah. Like, my wife had her family and stuff there to help a little bit.
So she had some help.
But at the same time, she was like, I kind of need you here to help me.
Yeah.
But I understand. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, like that was the biggest thing we had early on was like understanding each other's dreams. You know what I'm saying? Like she had, dreams of finishing school, but like I said, we were pretty much the same age, but she ended up getting pregnant with my daughter, so she couldn't necessarily finish what she wanted to. So she sacrificed some stuff for me, you know what I'm saying? Like she sacrificed a lot for me so I can do what I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? So but like she was definitely a trooper, man. She was right there in my corner, and she was real supportive of what I had to do to to go chase my dream.
That's incredible, man. So now you're out in Cali. You're training. Tell us a little bit about, how that went, or like just your process up until the draft. And you said you had to earn a workout spot. So did Utah not have a combine that year? I mean, a pro day that year?
Yeah, no, they did. I had to work very hard. I was like one of the last people to get invited to the combine. You know what I'm saying? So like the combine stuff, you know how that goes. But like I said, I was whether I had a combine invite or not. I was like I said training. At that point, like I got an agent. This is what he's telling me. I'm gonna go to my pro day and do what I got to do to just to get a chance to get into the door. You know what I'm saying? Because like people looked at it, my story coming out, offensive player his whole career, only 2 years at defense. Like even though he has the intangibles, he's pretty raw at the position. You know what I'm saying? So like reading stories on me, like okay, he's 7th-round draft pick to being undrafted just off the simple fact of his experience. So like I said, I'm in California. Training with some guys who like to this day might be some of my best friends. You know what I'm saying? So I found, guys, to keep me sane. And at the time, like I said, it was I happened to be the only one with a kid, but at the same time, like they all had, similar stories, or different backgrounds, but we could relate, So and like we're still super cool to this day, and I said everything worked out. I went to the combine, had a great test. I tested well at the combine. And like I said, went to pro day. Everything went well there. So and after that, the rest was history.
Your wife and your daughter had to sacrifice a lot, but a lot of times people don't see that. Yes, everybody's sacrificing for me, but I don't think sometimes people realize that it does hurt me. Yes, I'm chasing the dream that I want. So this is what I want.
For sure.
So a lot of people think like, hey, you're doing what you want. You're okay. Were you? So you left Texas to go to Utah, unfamiliar area. You left your family to go to unfamiliar area. Now you're in Utah. You grew and you gained a new family, and now you're leaving again. This time only, this time shorter. Yeah. But this is another time where you're somewhere new, start from scratch alone.
For sure.
And so how did you deal with that? Was that a little bit better this time because at least you knew maybe you had how that experience go?
And that's the thing. Like this was a little bit better. Like the simple fact, like I said, because I knew I was actually chasing the dream, something bigger. But like in college, I didn't know that.
You didn't know.
I mean, obviously, as a football player growing up, as a little kid, like your dream is always to get to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? That's everybody's. I ain't gonna say everybody's, but the majority of the people that play football, like or from a young age, grow up to be in it, like want to grow up to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so, I was playing, Little League football, but like I didn't start taking it serious until 8th, 9th grade. I always wanted to play basketball, but like this time it was a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Because I was chasing the dream, but it was still hard on me. Like I said, the simple fact just of the bond I had with my wife and my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like not being able to, be with them every day. I mean, like we would talk every day, FaceTime every day, but just like being able to be there, especially with my daughter in the those young stages. you want to be in their life as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, and growing up around all girls, I got a soft spot for women. You know what I'm saying? So like I just wanted to be around my daughter and my wife all the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it was a little bit better, but it was still tough. You know what I'm saying? Like it was still one of those things you had to get through. But like you said, it was a bigger purpose at the end of the road. So that's why I was trying to work my butt off and get to.
Exactly. And so after going through that even more, and it's like, how did it feel when did you get the call that, hey, you got invited to the NFL Combine? And for those you don't know, the NFL Combine is invite only for the top college athletes of that draft class. And it's only 220 slots, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And there's right around 300 draft picks.
Yeah.
So, or is it less than that?
No, it's around.
It's like 260 draft picks and like 200 slots for the combine. So that's a great accomplishment. And for someone who's out chasing their dream, battling whatever they're battling with their family back home, and now here, how did that feel to know that, hey, I'm another step closer than just my agent telling me, hey, you're seventh undrafted, you'll likely get a shot, to now I'm an NFL Combine guy.
Yeah,
which increases that, increases the chances.
I feel like it was I wouldn't necessarily say a weight off my shoulders. I just feel like I said, because like I was the type of guy, like I would read blogs and stuff like about myself, like what people are saying about me. You know what I'm saying? Like even though I shouldn't care what people are saying about me, but like at the time, because I was going through that was my future. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I would read stuff like that. So when I finally got the, it was like, late round draft pick to being undrafted, you know what I'm saying? So like that really made me push harder, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ended up getting the combine invite. When I got the combine invite, I was like, okay, this is just another step for me to go out here and prove why I should be up here with some of these, these top guys. And like I said, my draft class was, at the DB position, was loaded my year. So, but I was just like, you know what? I can't look at what they do. I got to go be me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go be myself. So like I said, I went out there and I put, I ran with some of the guys, with some of the guys who went first round. Like I jumped with some of the guys who went first round. But I mean, like I said, that just wasn't my, first round wasn't in my plans. But at the same time, like I said, I went out there and tested the best, I'm gonna say like the best I could do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's all you can do.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It was happened to be, in some statistical categories, I was, 1 or 2 here in the top 10 here. So I'm saying, I feel like I tested well. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that combine alone was just like, when it was over with, I felt, like accomplished.
You can't compare. Like, comparison is a thief of all joy. And at the end of the day, you got invited just like everyone else, and then you did the best Bryan Allen could do, and you felt good about that. And that's the joy. That's pure joy. Yeah, that's what pure joy feels like, because you could have sat there and said, hey, I didn't test as good as this one guy in this category or this guy in this category, and you could have worried about all the bad things that's happening. But instead, I feel like in life sometimes you have to find those good things, because in just about everything, there's something good out of it. Yeah. And that was something you had to look forward to, that I tested well, and the next step was the draft. And so after training, at the combine, were you able to go back home? Were you around what time were you able to go home from the pro days and combines to be able to chill in Utah? Yeah, when I went to after I left the combine, I actually ended up going back to the training facility, like I said, because my pro day wasn't, to maybe another 2.5 weeks out. Yeah. So I went back to my training facility back in California, and was just continuing to make sure my body was healthy, just making sure I'm staying on top of the little things, because when you go back to the pro days, you got to do some stuff over that you feel like you didn't do well at the combine. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going back, and when I finally got back to I finally got back to Utah. Went through pro day again, and it was just like I said, it was just good to be around. Like I said, at that point, like I hadn't been home. Like once I met my wife and had my kid, I didn't go back to Texas for like maybe 3 years at that point. So I was just kind of like, it felt good to be back at home, like seeing some of your old teammates that's supporting you, seeing your family that's supporting you, your coaches that's supporting you. So it was kind of like, instead of just being at the combine where it's just still focused, like you could actually like feel like, okay, I can be free. So I got my people with me. My people want me to succeed, do good. They like right here in my corner. So, and it was, like I said, it felt good to be back. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. Yeah, you got to go to your pro day, which is back at your home school, have all your family around you supporting you and everything. After this is, draft day comes. Tell us about that. How the draft day?
So for the draft, I wanted to, go back home to Texas so I can, be with, my family who couldn't make it out to, games or anything like that. So I went back, wife, kids, I got some of my best friends around, parents, grandparents, so we're watching the draft. And if you're an athlete out there, like the draft might be one of the most stressful. Like you think the combine is stressful, but the draft is a whole totally another different animal. You know what I'm saying? So like the first round goes by, day one goes by. At this point, like I said, because I tested, I kind of knew I was going to be like a day 3 guy around, 4th through 7th. So day 1 goes by, and I'm just looking at all the guys getting drafted. Day 2 goes by, and I'm just looking at some of the guys getting drafted. And like I said, it's like you said, it's not comparable.
Yeah.
But you're looking at some of the guys who get, it's hard not to
It's hard not to
compare when you're looking at guys on the draft. Be like, man, my stats was better than his, or like
I locked him up.
I did this better than him, or like my stats. You know what I'm saying? Like it was hard, but at the same time, I was just like, you know what? That's not for me. I can't do that. I can't control that. So you know what I'm saying? Day 3 goes by. I think like I slept in front of the TV from the day the draft started till I was drafted. Like I didn't move. So day 3 comes. The 4th round goes by, and I kind of like see my name, as some of the best available. So I'm thinking like, okay, cool. 4th round is coming. I'm for sure finna be off. 4th round goes by. I'm getting a little bit nervous. Like at this point, I'm just like, man, I don't even want to be here anymore. So it got to the point like the draft is just rolling. 5th round comes. And at this time, I had to step out. Like I was, because I was just mentally drained. You know what I'm saying? I was super anxious, and just so happened I step outside. My phone rings, and it was a Pittsburgh number. And the first person I talked to was Mike Tomlin, and he was just asking me like how I was feeling and stuff like that. Then when he let me know, he was just like, okay, we're gonna make you a Steeler right here. Like it was just like a weight just lifted off my shoulders, So I went back in and seen my name come across the TV, and for me that was just like one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. Like I worked my tail off for that, and it finally became a reality, and then the fact that I got to share it with, my family, my friends and stuff like that, it was just one of the moments that I'll never forget.
No, that's incredible. That's incredible, man. And just to think, like, once again, like 4 years ago, you might have been done. You wanted to go back home, and like I said, you had your community around you. You also had your coaches telling you what you can do and what can come out of this. So you had to trust that the work you put in, because at the end of the day, you had to put in work. From going from a receiver to a cornerback, you had to trust people around you. Like, hey, he means what he's saying. To now an NFL draft pick, and I know that had to feel incredible. Your family was proud of you. Your wife, your daughter, she probably didn't know, but she was proud of you. She probably didn't know what she was proud of, but at this time, she probably was definitely proud of her father. All the sacrifices everyone made, and you had to keep going. And I think that's commendable, because a lot of people don't keep going, and you kept going, and now you're an NFL draft pick. Now you're a Steeler. From what I'm hearing, is community is what got you here and what got you through there.
I mean, like I say too, one of the things I feel like we don't do as men enough is show emotion.
Exactly.
Like we hold it in because you're a man. You're supposed to be tough. You're not supposed to show emotion, but at the same time, like, all those things can be true, and you can still be able to, express how you feel and show, like, other than, what you got going on, like, you're still human at the end of the day.
Exactly.
You're not cyborg. Like, you're not a robot. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's one of the things, like I said, for me was big. Like, I just had to, like, it was okay to show emotion. Like, for me, like, it was kind of like when I got drafted, for example, like, once I, got off the phone, like, I just broke down, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like people thought it was, tears of joy, which, I mean, partly a part of it was, but at the same time, it was just like, damn, like, all this stuff that I've been through, it's finally, it led up to this moment, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, but it was just like stuff only I knew and my wife knew, because she was the only person that I would talk to about stuff that was going on like that, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, man, it was just a weight lifted, and it was kind of like tears of joy, but at the same time, here we go again.
Yeah, because she knows.
Now the real work starts all over again. You know what I'm saying? So it's an uphill battle from being a late round draft pick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to making a roster, earning a spot. So it was.
Exactly.
It was starting all over again. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was.
So was that learned behavior, learning to be able to wear your emotions? Because like you said, a lot of men don't know how to. One, they don't know how to, or they don't want to. So was that learned behavior? Is that something you kind of had from how you were raised, or is that something you just had to realize as you got older, that it's okay to, be emotional, show emotions and things like that?
It was definitely something I had to learn along the way.
Yeah.
Like I said, because I grew up in a household of all women. You know what I'm saying? So as, I had an older sister and I got a younger sister. You know what I'm saying? So as being the only guy in the house, you don't want to, you feel like you have to be that protector all the time. And, you feel like a protector is someone who don't cry, who's tough, who don't let nothing bother him. You know what I'm saying? So me growing up, that's just how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? But over time, it was just something I was just it's alright. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's alright.
Shit happens. I mean, it happens. You have to. Sometimes you just gotta get it out. Like I'm saying, all that frustration I was going through in college. Like I said, it was plenty of times I was just yo. And then my wife at the time, she's just if you gotta let it out, let it out. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Coach Tomlin, he told me a saying: don't go to other people with your problems. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just half of them glad you got them, and the other half don't care about them. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those times I was just that's just the mentality I had, but at the same time, not saying that's something that's not good, but it's okay sometimes to show those emotions. You feel what I'm saying? Voice your frustrations and just let it out. You know what I'm saying? And keep pushing.
He said half glad you got them, half don't care. And I think that's something we deal with is we're worried about what those other people are.
For sure.
When in reality, you have people that care. But since you've been taught so much that no one does, you hold it in. But let's take your two examples. Your wife, you talk to her, and it helps you go forward.
Yeah.
You talk to your coach, you let it out, and it helps you go forward. I think there's another percentage somewhere in there. If it's half and half, one of them halves have to be cut down because people do care. Yeah. And every time you open up and speak to people, great things happen. Good things happen. And I think that's something that needs to be kind of pushed out, that people don't care. And it's, at the same time, I also feel like what other people emotions or how they feel is something out of your control. And the biggest thing you can do is control what you can control. Absolutely. And that's finding people you trust, as example, your coach and your wife, and I'm sure you have other people that you trust now, and you have to find those people because at the end of the day, you have to get something off your chest. And that's going to help you, and these people are here to help. And I think a lot of times we think so many aren't. You start to realize that it's not true. People do care, and the more you open up and the more you talk about it, better things happen. Draft day, also realize that, hey, I'm a late round guy. I know I have to go through work. Does your wife understand this? I know, everybody doesn't know football. Some people do, a lot of people do. Does she understand, okay, I'm happy with you, but I know you. We talk. You know what I'm saying?
So, like I said, she definitely knew, like I said, it was going to be an uphill battle, especially, like I said, because there were other, guys at my position that were also drafted in that draft class. So she kind of knew, like I said, because, late round pick, Rick, you're going to have to go in there, and work your butt off, work your tail off. And especially, like I said, everybody knew that only playing 2 years of defense, going straight to the highest level, you were going to need, some experience. You know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like, Pittsburgh was a blessing in disguise at the time because I needed the experience. And at the time, they had one of the best receivers in the league, Antonio Brown. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why I credit Mike Tomlin so much. Great guy, one of the best coaches I've ever had. He wanted the best for me, so it was kind of like when we were at practice, he was like, if 84 is on the field, you go at 84. I want you to follow him around because at the end of the day, like you said, it might not go your way, it might go your way, but at the end of the day, he's going to make you a better player.
Exactly.
So, and, I feel like till this day, Antonio Brown has helped flourish my game so much, just being so raw at the position, and I said, because I've been, with different teams in my career, I've learned, new things about the position. So I still don't know everything about the position. I'm still learning every day. So it's that's kind of just how I approach it. And what I'm saying, I got an open mind to, now instead of just holding things in, let it out and be willing to take in information as
Yeah.
well. You know what I'm saying? You can't be, stagnant about what other people are saying because, like I said, you never know how that might apply to you somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I roll.
So, you talked about how you've been with other teams and things like that. So let's talk about how the NFL is and how unstable your job is day in and day out, and how you're able to maneuver through that and get through those, thoughts, because at any day you can get cut, or any day you might.
So I think the biggest thing with the NFL is kind of like the whole purpose of your podcast. Because once you get into your head mentally, it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
Just because the simple fact of like, man, you got to be in the right state of mind to be in the NFL. Like I said, because like if you go into the NFL, like you can be one of the, best players on your team and stuff like that. But if you're not mentally into it, like anything can happen at any any moment. So like for me, like it was like I said, I knew I was a late round pick and stuff like that. So it was gonna be an uphill battle for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like I'm working my tail off. To earn a spot in the rotation at the time. Like I ended up making the team my first 2 years. It was just strictly on special teams, but I'm working my butt off to just get out there, just to get in the rotation at the corner spot. And it was kind of like going back to how it was in college. Like you feel like you're better than the man in front of you, or you can contribute more than the man in front of you is, but it's not working out for you. And like I said, that can kind of get in your head for me. Like. And I feel like there were times in the NFL where I got like that, and my performance showed. You know what I'm saying? It showed like that I wasn't like into it. Yeah, man, that was just the biggest thing for me. After like my second year, refocus. You know what I'm saying? Like, and after my second year, going into my third year, I got released. That was the first time I've ever had to go to a situation where like I got cut.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking like, damn. My career is over. Like, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, like, I have a million emotions going through. Like, is my career over? Like, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, start questioning myself. Like, am I good enough? Like stuff like that started to pop up in my head, and it was kind of like that put me into like a state that I was in like a dark state at that point. It's just like, cause I'm like, nah, this can't be real. Like it happened too fast, you know what I'm saying? Like I know I didn't do anything wrong, but like, what happened?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Then like before I signed with my next team, like the season had already started. It was like almost midway through the next season before I signed. So it, like,
when did you get cut?
Right after training camp, going into my third year.
So going into your third year, you went through all the camps, mini camps and everything, and then training camp ended for the final. So you made the final 53 cut.
So it was like, how they make the first early cuts and then they make the late cuts. So I was on like the cusp of being either practice squad or final cut, and I ended up, like I said, making it down to the final cuts. And like I said, it came down between me and another guy, and they ended up keeping another guy who's still one of my close friends today, but. Like I said, like shit, it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens, but it was just like that was the first time it had happened to me. So I didn't know how to actually process it in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, is it over with? Like, like I know I'm still good enough to play. I'm questioning my abilities. Like, am I good enough? What did I do wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like, that could put you in a bad mental state. So that's when I kind of like was.
And then it happened for almost over a year. Yeah. Right, so was it the third season you got picked up? That same season you got picked up.
Yeah, it was it was the same season, but it was a course of like maybe
just about a month or two.
Two and a half. Yeah, about 2.5 months, almost 2.5 months before I got another call to go somewhere, and that's why I was just like, and that's what I'm saying. That's what a lot of people like. I don't know. That's what you could like. It's easy to get in your head and be like, yeah, man. At that point, like the season started, I'm not going nowhere. To just mentally check out, stop working out, stop doing the things you got to do, and then. Boom, another opportunity calls. You know what I'm saying? So, like, luckily, like I said, I was still in the mindset, staying, ready if I got another call. But it was just like I said, when that first happened, those first couple of weeks, I was just like, I hadn't been through this before. I didn't know how to, like, and the thing is, I had a little kid, had a wife who was with me, so I'm just like, we ain't got nowhere to go. Because at the time, I didn't have a house. I didn't have a home yet. So it was either like, do we go back to Texas to live with my mom? Do we go back to Utah to live with your mom? Because it's like, there's no sense of us being in Pittsburgh anymore if I'm not here. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I said, it was a lot going through my mind at the time. And it wasn't more about me. It was more about
the family.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and like I said, luckily, like we ended up, having another opportunity where we went somewhere. But like, it was just like, that's why I'm like, man, my wife's a trooper. Like she was right there with me at the time we only had one kid, the dog, like she's going everywhere with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, so she dropped her whole life to chase my dream with me, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you said, going back to, man, the community and what you got behind you is very big, and you know your mental state and you know how your life plays out.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you giving me your time today and just talking and just dropping off a few tools to put in the toolbox, man. I think a lot of people can learn from all your experiences that you've been through, being a good teammate, teaching me some things, and helping us win.
Sure.
About to be on our way to Canton right now. Hopefully we can finish out the season the way we want to. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.